Ugh, this is too sterile. Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Super Mario Brothers 3. Now, I need my games to explain what the product actually is. Well, there is land in this game. Super Mario Land released alongside the legendary Nintendo handheld, the Game Boy. While it's still very much Mario, there's a lot that's different about this game in comparison to the NES Trilogy or Quadrology if you're a dual citizen. The reason for this change in tone was because this game was developed by Gunpei Yokoi, being the first Mario game not to involve my beloved Miyamoto. I mean, you look at this game and it's still Mario, right? It's not like this game is a graphic novel or anything. You move with the D-pad, jump with A, and run and shoot fireballs with B. Fireball, singular. And that's when you realize this game, it's pretty weird. A lot of series conventions have been changed. For example, the Koopas are now Bomb Koopas. If you jump on them once, they blow up in your face. And you know what? I kind of like it. I mean, not being blown up with a bomb, that's bad, but there's a lot of strategy that comes into play with this sort of element, as you can't just stand around and it keeps you on your toes. But let me tell you about the newest change to this entire game. The Goombas have been replaced by the Goombos. It feels different, okay? Trust me, it's a real game changer. Similarly, we have the Bullet Biff. Yeah, okay, and my name is JeffCompass. There's a canonical reason for all these changes, though. It's not just to be special and unique. The game takes place in a land entirely separate from the Mushroom Kingdom, this being Sarasa Land. Well, looks like the Mushroom Kingdom is no more. Don't trust any game reviewer who tells you the Flower Kingdom is the first time Mario had a new world, because you really can't trust the media these days, and it's a prime example. This time around, we're rescuing Princess Daisy. Why? Because Peach had a doctor's appointment. I mean, you tell me, how about that? We don't have that much to go off on in terms of story. It's not like Game Boy games, or hell, any games in this era, could really explain all that much due to system limitations. You were lucky if there were any words outside of the UI at all on a Game Boy game, so thankfully, we have the manual. Okay, once upon a time, there was a peaceful world called Sarasa Land. One day, the skies of Sarasa Land were suddenly covered by a huge black cloud. From a crack in this cloud, the unknown space monster Tatanga emerged to try to conquer Sarasa Land. Tatanga hypnotized the people of all the kingdoms so that way he could control them in any way he liked. In this way, he took over Sarasa Land. Now he wants to marry Princess Daisy of Sarasa Land. Oh my god, stop saying Sarasa Land! Yeah, so the evil guy wants the beautiful pixelated girl and wants to marry her. Mario somehow just came to know of these events, and yeah, it's just Super Mario Bros. 1, but with different people. Princess Daisy would continue to be a mainstay of the series from here, though. It's funny because she really serves no purpose in this game besides to be different, and really this could just be any generic princess character. Daisy in the later games was sassy and confident, and here, like, I have nothing to say about this. Like, it's just a sprite. She's just literally a goddamn sprite. So I guess it's notable in the sense that this character came back later. This was as a result of Mario Tennis. They needed a pairing for Peach, so they took essentially a name from this weird Game Boy title, Boom, Hi, I'm Daisy. Other characters didn't fare too well. Tatanga? Who the hell is that? A purple dragon riding a spaceship? I mean, who are these enemies? Easter Island statues, girls in kimonos who never die, hands that come out of warp pipes? Yeah, you want to know how weird Super Mario Land is? It's so weird, in fact, that it takes place in real life. Oh no. There are 4 worlds in this game. The first one, Birabuto, is completely different from Super Mario Bros., hearkening to an ancient Egypt design. You could tell because there are triangles in the background. The finale of the world takes place inside one of these pyramids, and while that sort of general level progression was seen in the older Super Mario games, it's a neat concept here because of how the player is familiar with these ideas, as opposed to abstract worlds that don't exist elsewhere. The Muda Kingdom is your typical water land. The Easton Kingdom goes along with an Easter Island motif, gee, who would have guessed, with a super difficult final level that throws rocks and spiders your way. And the Chai Kingdom is based on ancient China. Now, whether or not you prefer these changes, you have to admit that this is a pretty unique spin for not only Mario, but for a platformer in general, fighting against the standard tropes of grass, water, and on the Game Boy no less. The ambitious approach to the presentation wouldn't have been possible, though, without this game's phenomenal soundtrack. If you want to know how good it is, they literally remixed one of these songs in Super Smash Bros. Brawl in Subspace Emissary. You know the one, the da da na na da da, yeah, that. And the other songs are nothing to forget about either. I mean, every time I listen to these, they're in my head for hours and hours, to the point where I can't sleep anymore. It's gotten bad. So yeah, the graphics, the masterful 3-song soundtrack, the lore even, it's all nice and dandy, but how does the game play? It sure plays. Okay, the movement in this game is pretty jank. It's not broken or unplayable or anything like that, but I can't say it's smooth either. To be fair, a lot of the 2D platformers in this era suffered from similar issues, the most frustrating of which is that you lose momentum extremely easily, making it pretty hard to do precise jumps unless you have just the right amount of speed. In general, there are little moments of BS too, like the invisible question mark boxes that they place to be a jerk and platforms that you clip through. And don't forget about the fact that Mario sinks like a damn rock, right into the abyss of hell. All of this wouldn't be that much of a problem normally, but Super Mario Land has a blatant obsession with precision platforming. In terms of old game difficulty, it's no Silver Surfer or Mega Man or anything, but calling it easy I think would be disingenuous. This all correlates with a pretty steep difficulty spike that takes place right after World 2. It's not even a spike, it's like a wall. It's easy, then it turns into my favorite difficulty, go screw yourself. Now thankfully, Super Mario Land has a fairly accommodating life system. If you play well, there's a possibility to visit a bonus round at the end of each level, which gives Mario the chance to get anything between a fire flower and 3 extra lives. There's no strategy to this at all, change my mind. And if you know the locations, you can definitely find lots of 1-ups. Hearts. Yeah, I guess they were worried that the mushroom power-up would look a little too close to it, so that's my guess for the change, but maybe the developers just felt like feeling a little more generic than usual. Every world ends with a boss fight. If you can call jumping over an enemy once and touching a hammer a boss fight, well, Worlds 1 and 3 may not be any more complicated than your standard Bowser battle, but Worlds 2 and 4 introduce these really cute submarine shooter levels. They're pretty easy, but you know what? It counts as variety. And that's Super Mario Land. Yeah, that's all of Super Mario Land. This is a super short game with not a lot to say about it, but I think it's extremely charming personally and serves its place well in Mario's history. It's a fascinating time capsule. Besides Daisy, nothing really came out of this game, but I kind of like the idea that this is some alternative timeline to Super Mario Bros. I like to see the world of Sarasa Land revisited again one day. There's a lot of potential with a game like this in an HD era, or maybe even a 3D Mario game. Don't be cowards. I definitely recommend giving this game a shot if you have any way to play it. So go onto your Switch, go onto NSO, and play it right now. Oh wait, it's not on there, but Super Mario Land 2 is... Why?